It's funny. I don't think of Twilight Zone as weird.
Yeah. Well, it is.
I guess technically.
I don't care how the media wants to shake it these days, but Twilight Zone is weird. It's about weird things happening, and if you had to take them seriously, if they were happening to you.
Two things. First of all, not as weird as the monsters.
That's
And second of all, probably more eerie than weird.
Eerie is weird.
No, there's a whole book about the difference.
Eerie is weird.
I forget the
It is, yeah. How do I know you're not just making it up?
I'm not.
Right
There's
now?
a book called The Weird and the Eerie, and it's about.
Well, it's about the Twilight Zone.
They probably mentioned the Twilight Zone in both.
Slam that button. Slam the Twilight Zone button.
Oh, which one is that? This one? Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy's on the sounds today.
Are we recording?
Yeah, well, I've just left it go. I don't know if this will be the beginning. This part sucks for me, honestly. No, do the theme song now. You got it.
Cool.
And we're back. Another week of questions here on Quora.com and the Quorators, and we're the Quorators, and that's the show. We're your Quorators. We curate Quora, and that's what the word is. I don't want anybody else asking me what it is because we all understand it. It's a curation of Quora. We're the Quorators. It's Alex and Jeremy. We're back for another week. Hey, say hi to the fans, Jeremy.
How's it going?
Hey.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on? Thanks for coming back.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me at your home.
Oh, yeah, of course. I meant the listener, but you too. I'm glad you're here. I'm thankful for everything in my life. We have such an exciting guest for you today. Oh my goodness, you're gonna love them. Just popping on down from across the pond. We got the one and only Tim Platt here.
Bonjour,
folks.
everyone. I'm noticing you're all holding your microphones. Should I be holding my microphone too?
You can do whatever you want. It's just like, here's the thing is because we have video going, I would normally hunch over like a goblin and I'm like, yeah, that is weird about anime or whatever. But now that it's on video, I want to look as handsome as I can.
Yeah, because I guess the best sound for me is just to hunch over like this, but I want to be beautiful. One thing I've always wanted in my whole life is to be beautiful.
You've always striven for beauty.
I did,
and that's what we wanted to capture from you on this show.
which is why I'm picking it up and I'm speaking into it like my hosts have led me to believe is appropriate.
3 great senators holding up the fascists.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's good. I think it's good to hold it up. And maybe people hear a little more like every now and then, but that's not,
Yeah,
who cares?
Fuck off, honestly. This is what it takes to look beautiful.
But that's also counterbalanced by what they can, I imagine, hear in the vocals as sort of liveliness, a sort of more freedom of expression because we're able to bring the mic to us rather than force our personalities towards the mic. You know?
A sense of play.
A sense of play.
Mm-hmm. Tim is on the show. He has never heard of Quora before.
No.
Never heard of it at all?
No.
Interesting.
Or, no. But...
In a sense, though.
I mean, I know that there are sites where you answer questions, and now I've been told this is one of them.
Yeah, you know about questions.
Yeah, I know about questions.
So we're not like totally in the dark, and it's a website for questions.
Have you ever asked Jeeves?
I have asked Jeeves.
Okay.
This is like the website that Jeeves uses to see what the questions are, if that makes sense.
But I feel like with Jeeves, for myself, I usually ask a where or a when, and it seems like Quora is a more of a how and a why and a help.
Yeah.
More often, but it can be when. Maybe we'll just put in the word when, see what happened. I'm afraid to move out of this page we're on here. But Quora is, every week we ask the question, what is Quora?
Yeah.
It's somewhat of a motto we have around here, as if to ask that question. And so far we've come up with that it's like Facebook, but it's not as good. It's like Facebook, but it's formatted like Reddit, and the people seem like they've ingested a poison of some kind that makes them less grounded.
I'm sorry, I entered a bit of a fugue state when you brought up that the question is a motto, and I started thinking about are there any other mottos that are questions? And I can't think of any, but I did enter a fugue state trying to be like, what if a Lannister always paid his debts? Or like, is there any sports team that like, who's winning? We're winning.
We are.
You know, like who's winning with an
Who
implied
will be
winning?
the one who wins?
Now, I don't want to be an extremely pedantic asshole, but what might throw a wrench in this is that that's not the Lannisters saying. Officially, their motto is something about lions or something.
Strike first, the lion sleeps.
But yeah.
It's more of a tagline for their family.
But I don't know. I hate that I know this, but there's a line in the book where they're quizzing Bran on what the Lannisters' motto is, and he says that, and they're like, they do say that a lot, but that's not their motto.
That's
Wow.
so
There's like ours is the fury or something like that.
Bran sounds a lot like Tim in that moment. I always thought.
And I wasn't gonna say it, but it does. It is interesting that it cancels out the example. Can a motto be a question? I don't know.
Okay. Who's winning?
Who is number one?
Implied they're winning.
When is our time? Now. So that our motto is what is Quora. And so every week,
It's just something we say.
Tim, it's a silly website where we read questions from it, and every week we ask a question at the end using what we've learned throughout the podcast in the hopes that we'll get answers and we'll learn something about ourselves from it. Now, we got a lot. We're kind of drunk on success right now. Because last week we got like 7 responses to our collective 2 or 3 questions. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yes.
You were
I thought
there.
you were saying the new one. I thought you were saying the new one.
No, the new one we have, double checking this, 0 responses.
Okay, cool.
And
Let me see how this works.
You know what's interesting?
Oh, no, that was not the one I wanted.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was it. It was killing
I have
spree.
no idea what's going on.
I definitely just want to jump in and say something I've
Please.
noticed is kind of interesting about holding these mics on record.
Brother Tim?
Is that these are kind of heavy mics.
Yeah, it's not easy.
And so to actually maintain like a good posture for the screen, you actually have to activate your core a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've just noticed that I am activating my core more than I have in any podcast recording.
We're going to be jacked
Yeah,
by the end of this.
it seems like a higher level mic to hold, but after you move on to your next podcast, you'll find that you're far stronger picking up that mic.
Okay, that's cool.
Weighted training in its own way. So let's go over this question we wrote last week and maybe kind of think about what we did wrong and where we could go right in the future. Last week we asked, we've all heard about Building 7, but what happened to Buildings 1 through 6? Nobody ever wants to talk about it.
Because we're reading a bunch of 9/11 conspiracy questions.
And that was submitted to like R911 or Q911 or what have you. Is there a way to figure out where we put this thing? This website sucks. It's like a lot of what we have to deal with because it's not like very clear where you're sending anything or how to get to the questions you put up before. But I think our issue there was not specific enough.
Yeah, I think that's true. And also a joke.
Yeah, people, they see it and they go, ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what they want is to really sink their teeth in and usually tell you that you're stupid is the number one response you get on here.
Well, here's my thing. Here's my question
Oh, Tim.
to you.
Okay.
When you ask a question, are you trying to be funny? Or are you trying to think of a good question that would get legitimate engagement on this site? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the lesson there, isn't it, that we want to, let's
wanna
put
do
the
both.
clown away.
Hide the clown.
Hide the clown, put your makeup in your treasure trunk, pack it up, and for 1 second in your goddamn life, ask a genuine question that you want to know
Okay.
about.
So this week we'll ask a
Questions
real
like-
question.
Well, the question we did before that did so well was, hey, fellas, when you're wearing your full-length pajamas at the urinal, do you pull
think it was at
those
the
bad
toilet.
boys all the way down, or do you zip from the... No, it's you stand or sit while you're peeing, and then like 10 people had to jump in.
Yeah.
But most of them were just like, oh, why are you wearing pajamas? Or, something rude.
Yeah.
That is rude.
Yeah,
You were very mean on this website.
we didn't really give them the opportunity to be rude to us the way we wanted. So we'll have to try better this week. But I think we're going to really knock it out of the park because Tim has a curious mind and a mind for questions. And that's what we're looking for here at Core Raiders.
I have a question.
Yes, Tim.
I'm just learning how to cook, and I'm finding myself sort of freaked out whenever I have to hold a knife. I've never been injured by a knife before, but this is my first time cooking for myself. Parentheses. I'm 21. I just graduated college. I've only had cafeteria. I'm living with myself for the first time. Is there any techniques that chefs use to familiarize themselves with knives so they're not afraid of using them? Edit, please don't give me cooking technique. I understand that technique is different. That's different from what I am asking. Like, I'm not asking for knife skills. I'm asking how to not be afraid of these huge knives that I'm using, these jagged knives I'm using for the first time.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When you're formulating this very good question, are you thinking of a Reddit? Are you thinking of a Reddit?
I am thinking of a Reddit.
Because this is very much in their lingua franca, isn't it? It's very
You're
much
right.
when you're walking around Reddit, this is how you have to
I'm
converse
using
yourself.
the lingua franca of rival platforms.
Oh, and they'll
That's
sniff
right.
that out.
They're going to spell that out. They're going to
This guy's from Reddit.
down Quora your ass to oblivion with like that. But we can convert it in a way and really make that our question. We're going to get back to it at the end of the episode. But keep that knife question in mind.
Okay.
I did not know you were 21. That's very exciting. I've known you for 10 years and I feel strange about it now.
Yeah, I'm 21.
That's crazy.
You remember the bars we did bad open mics at 20 years ago? I wasn't allowed to be there because I was.
You were 11.
I was very young.
You were also the same height and size and stuff. It was like, wow, this is a man I'm talking to.
But you'll notice I've become more erotic as I've gone through puberty.
Yeah, you have a brass to your voice that didn't used to be there for sure.
Yeah, because some of that comes from a recent vocal training, but most of it comes from going through puberty and maturing. I'm 21 years old.
Wow. Well, you'll have to wait for Tim's details at the end of the episode, ladies, because he's 21.
That's the big sell
He's
for
20,
women.
He's very fertile because he's 21.
Yeah.
Women love when you're 21. That's one of the best things for them.
You know, one thing I've learned from being 21 is I've just made a point to not speak for women.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Oh, it's just a
Yeah.
generational thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on Quora asking how do I respect women better than I have been. But like you can
Maybe you should ask women.
well, you can tag them on Quora.
Okay, good.
That's one of the features is you tag people individually, so we could do that.
But you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you
actually
can request answers from
It
people.
insists you do. We usually avoid it because the people who are good at answering the questions probably are just going to give us more than we can chew.
So I found a guy that I think we should ask a question
Oh, okay.
to.
The knife one?
No, yeah, maybe, sure. So I found this guy. I clicked on this link, and immediately it just shows me a disgusting foot
Oh, good Lord.
underneath the page. That's unrelated. But
Okay.
I found this question, and the question is, did anyone from your high school become famous? And this guy, Robert Puckett, answered, and he said, I went to a very small private school. When I say small, I mean small. My graduating class was 22 people, and it was the largest graduating class in the school's 12-year history. It's been easy to keep up with the lives of the people I went to school with. I can say, without a doubt, that having almost 18,000 followers on this obscure website in the dark corners of the internet makes me the most famous person to ever attend that school.
He said himself.
That's bullshit.
He said himself because of his 18,000 Quora follows.
Yeah. And his job is content creator at Quora.
There's no way that anybody else you
No.
went to high school with just has like 100K Twitter, you know,
No.
like an old platform like that. Come on.
And he says, if only my teachers who'd said I never amount to anything could see me now.
No.
Okay, yeah, we will tag him in the next question. Remember, keep that in mind.
I love the idea of him going to his teachers and being like, well, I'm now famous on Quora. And they're like, no one knows what that is.
Yeah,
So,
dude, he's walking into
You
the
still,
high
I was
school
right.
You know what? He's walking into the high school reunion, and do you know what music is playing? Jeremy, hit the Naruto theme again.
Oh,
hit it
fuck.
again. Do you know what music's playing?
Is that the one?
Yeah. It's,
Okay, cool. I've never seen Naruto.
Oh well, it's funny
Yeah.
in its own ways.
It's got a lot of episodes.
Okay, you can turn it off now. Hit the with the latch feature. Pressing it again turns it off.
Cool.
Tim, we're here to read Quoras today.
Okay.
Are there any subjects in particular that you are drawn to?
Oh, God. Subjects in particular.
Like, for example, do you have questions about romance or medicine? We have a lot of medicine and doctor-related Quoras pulled up.
I'd prefer not to do anything medical. If that's okay. Just doesn't bring me a lot of joy to sort of think into that space. You
Well,
know?
there are questions like, how do nurses feel about the doctor's stethoscope comment made on The View?
Yeah, I was really interested in that one because I'd never heard of it.
Right.
What?
There was this question that was, how do nurses feel about the View's comments on these on the stethoscopes.
Now, between
And
the
I
three
just-
of us,
I had never heard of this as an issue.
The Views,
Like the TV show, The
TV
View.
show.
and they said something about stethoscopes.
Yeah, apparently.
I think all of us should be watching The View more than we are because it sounds like we're a little lost at the start.
The only reason I put this in here is because it made me laugh because I was like, I've literally never heard of this. And the comment was just someone saying pissed off in all caps. And this whole thing about like nurses are mad, doctors are mad. And it's completely outside of my world.
But what did they say about the stethoscope?
Couldn't tell you.
So it's just pissed off?
So, well, then there we go. Let me go next question.
Okay, fine.
Couldn't tell you.
If we're not going to dig into it, then,
Okay.
We're not here to answer questions. We're here to read quoras.
We're here to curate quoras.
maybe I'm figuring it out. Maybe just pick some ones that you guys feel is particularly lively, and I'll sort of figure out what the vibe
Okay,
is.
what about as a gynecologist, what gets you mad?
I mean, I don't know how to riff on this. I don't know how to riff on this.
Let's see what we got as a gynecologist that makes you mad.
All right, read it, Alex.
Okay.
Can I ask you,
Yeah.
as a gynecologist, what makes you mad?
The fucking pussy.
All right, maybe you're right. It
Pisses
isn't
me
rippable.
off. It pisses me off, honestly.
All right, wait, let me click one of them. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. All right, whatever. We
Yeah,
figured
not
it.
the moo. What are you
How do I
saying?
turn it off?
Hold on, we haven't answered the question.
I literally cannot turn off the boo.
Is the moo looping? Oh no! Every time you press it, it
okay,
repeats.
I got it,
Yeah,
I
don't
got
press the moo again.
This might be the wrong language, but what if you search for best friend fails?
That
okay.
could be good.
Search it.
Hold on, we got to read this gynecology question.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. I am not a gynecologist. Start. Answer 1. But a patient who has experienced significant health problems, and there is something about the field of gynecology that infuriates me. This is another thing that's popular on this website, which is not answering the question and instead ranting about a thing that happened to you. Imagine being in your mid to late 20s in sound mental health, but living with excruciating physical pain or heavy menstrual bleeding to the extent that you are completely non-functional for about a quarter of your life. I'm imagining it. Seems bad. You may struggle to hold a job or attend college because it's so bad. Twice as bad as I'd guessed before. Not to mention holding on to any kind of social life or normal relationship. There's an easy surgical solution, but your doctor refuses on the grounds that it will render you infertile. Huh. There's a lot about gynecology I've never considered. I didn't know about fertility tying in. I know I just said that Tim is extra appealing because of how fertile he is, and maybe that was ignorant in a way.
This is impossible for me to riff on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Can we stop talking about gynecology?
Okay, I'm sorry. We're not going to talk about gynecology again.
It's just when I go to about medical stuff, all I can think of is that well, great, I have empathy for these very real issues, and there's no fun.
I think 3 guys should be riffing on gynecology.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Well, we have a lot of questions about romance.
great. Let's do some romance ones.
Romance? Okay.
We're three sterile, virile men.
Yeah.
And so we can probably answer some questions there.
We're all 21 plus here.
Yeah, we're all sterile. Virile. This is the guy who doesn't want anyone to know that he's sterile.
Yeah.
I keep messing up those 2 letters.
It's fine. I mean, ever since I found out I was virile.
I'm overflowing with eggs. Would you please hit the Austin Powers music?
Oh,
This is the
God.
pick one.
Okay, cool.
I have to push you. I have to push you to get to your next level.
It's because the numbers are in the opposite of the thing.
I wrote them that way because I want you to just have it memorized by color.
Okay.
I don't want you to
that.
leave the numbers out of it. When you're looking at these numbers, and that's it for the Austin Powers music, indicating the romance segment, which we're tentatively calling Quar Romance. Welcome to Quar Romance, where we read romance questions. Here's question 1. Has being in an incestuous relationship made you more...
Sure, Tim's gonna love this.
Okay, we want to, that's not really medical, but I don't want to bother. I don't know if
I will
Yeah, no, finish. If you want, these ones that you all collected, right?
Yeah.
So you had some. Go for it.
Okay, why has being in an incestuous relationship made you more accepting of other taboos?
I put this in here because it was sent to me in an email. It said top questions for Jeremy.
Yeah. Curated
I got
for
a
you.
Quora digest. It said top questions for Jeremy. Has being in an incestuous relationship made you more accepting of other taboos? And then someone told me, people have been DMing me Quoras now on Twitter.
That's how we wanted this to go.
And someone told me there's a big community of people who, like, I guess role play is incestuous or something like that. And it kind of freaked me out, but it's in there.
Okay. So
I have to say, that's a good question. You know,
It is a good question.
It's not necessarily a question that I care about.
Sure.
But it is a good question.
Well, it might not affect.
I'm sort of curious about how people answer
It might not affect your life personally, but would you like to know?
I kind of would like to know
how the people who happen to be in, yes, an incestuous relationship, which is illegal in much of the globe, how has that made them feel about accepting of other taboos?
I mean, I'd have to guess it would make them more accepting. Right?
I would hope, because once you break through the veil of incest, once you put on the glasses of incest, what do you see in the world around you?
And just to be clear, we're talking about consensual incestuous relationships.
That is not in the question, but we're assuming yes. We have to assume yes. Okay, so this answer is by Cajun Black Bear 49. Never been in an incestuous relationship before. That's gonna right off the top. But seeing how society, in caps, is so willing to accept gay marriages / relationships, I don't see any. I'm just reading the answer. I don't see any reason why an incestuous relationship should be treated any differently, because if you can accept a certain group, then you could damn sure accept another. And that is 13 up Quoras, which I feel like is too many. I'm going to down Quora it. I feel like
that's a terrible answer.
I think his heart's in the right place of acceptance, but the thing he's saying is maybe somewhat hurtful to a community.
I would also say, like, you should never answer a question that's like, as a blank. You should never answer it as, I am not blank.
They're all going to start that way. So we have to get over that now.
It also does seem like his answer is a little less open-minded and more of a sense of like, oh, well, since they get to do whatever they want now, then that should also be allowed to. You know, like, it seems a little more like that.
It is usually a stereotypical defense against all of these things. But, well, it's what he put in the community as 13 up Quoras. Our next one. I think incestuous and big age gaps is up there as the higher taboos. Right away, going to say high age gaps not as taboo as incest.
No.
Not really even on the same scale. No. I would put incest up there with bestiality.
Sure.
Is on a similar scale. But I think this person is probably coming at it from, I'm in a relationship with a big age gap, and it's people treat me like I'm dating my daughter. Okay. Doing other things like BDSM, rape, fantasy, and water sports are since and swinging quite tame. That's also how they talk here, is the sentences don't really go together. I wouldn't want an incestuous relationship, but my big taboo is taking on twins. What does that mean? I hate taking on twins. They double your trouble. For me, as I grew up with them all, I couldn't do that to them.
What?
For me, as I grew up with them all, I couldn't do that to them. But I have watched shows where they talk about relationships which weren't intentionally incestuous, as neither were raised together. I think he means twins dating each other.
Oh.
Sure.
What?
I couldn't take on twins is what Paul Duckett means.
I couldn't allow, or I couldn't.
Yeah, he couldn't take them on.
I couldn't bear to know.
If two twins dating were presented to them, he would collapse.
It really is worse Facebook. It's just a terrible website.
It requires an interpreter for a lot of it. I have seen DNA shows where two brothers were dating for many years and discovered they were brothers. German couple were both adopted and had children together, and children were taken away from them. Is it wrong? After all, the Bible is full of it. From the story of Cain and Abel,
I don't think that's how that story went.
Yeah.
I am also changing the word store to story to make the sentence work.
Okay.
From the store of Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve, etc., I think it's not about the relationship between siblings or other family, but the issue, I suppose, is children with defects as a result. Okay, I'm also going to give this one a down Quora.
But wait, hold up. But isn't that saying that we, the human race, is an example then of the children from presumably
Cain and Abel.
Cain and
Jim, I think the
from
Bible's
Adam and
saying
Eve,
that.
and
Sure,
Cain and
they're-
Abel. Like that's what they're.
Their argument is that everybody is a
If
result
those are
of
the
incest.
examples that they're using
Right.
for why incestuous relationships are in the Bible, those are our forebearers, right?
Yeah,
So then,
yeah. All people come from
Well,
them, I guess.
no.
Yeah.
Well, it's
not quite
from
true, though,
Adam
is it?
and Eve, not from Cain and Abel,
Well,
which I hate to be a stickler, but it's just about Cain killing Abel, not
Right.
breeding him as a fertile brood sow.
But are there other people in the Bible at that point? I'm
Yeah,
Jewish.
there's other people. Cain and Abel's Jewish.
Is it Jewish?
Yeah,
All right, I'm not that Jewish.
That's throwback Bible.
Sure,
that's,
you're right,
that's
you're right.
Genesis. Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's Genesis.
So are there
Ever
other
heard of it?
people
Phil
though,
Collins?
or are
What?
they implying that Cain is like having children with his mom or something?
I think that's sort of. Oh, that's true because I think those are the only people. Adam
They're-
and Eve gave birth to Cain and Abel.
Yeah, right.
Those
Is
are
it
the
like
first
an
two.
Abraham thing? Or-
Abraham's way later.
Abraham's way later.
I haven't been in a Bible study in a dog's age. We're not all 21 years old recalling our Bible research that we've had within the last 5 years.
What Catholicism is cool now in the 21. Is it? I don't want to riff on that shit because this is one of those like
Right.
cultural things that's. I heard someone tweet, "Why are all these articles about Catholics being cool now?" And I haven't followed up on any of
Sure.
that. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't know. I've heard. I know
No,
that
they're
people
cool
are-
now. They're cooler than they've ever been. There's
that true?
Have you seen the show Young Pope? There's a young Pope
true, yeah.
fictionally. Like we're all thinking about.
I've been
the young
trying to
Pope.
get my wife to watch that with me for
Yeah?
many years now. We haven't done it, but we did see another movie that director made called Loro. It's an Italian movie. It's all in Italian, and it's about Berlusconi,
Oh, what?
and it's like cool.
Loro
Okay.
could be a great name for a pope.
Pope Loro.
Loro.
What would
Papa Loro.
So if everyone became pope, what would your pope name be? I would be innocent. I would definitely be a pope. I would definitely be a pope innocent.
Well, I hate to be a hanger on, but I'd be a pious. I'd be pious like 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
How do Pope names work? What is it?
I mean, I think,
Dragging Jeremy into our Pope web.
I know
to
there is.
discuss Catholicism.
I know there is like a tradition
Every
of names.
episode.
I know there's a tradition of names. I don't know if they're like names that aren't allowed or a certain number of names that are only allowed, but people tend to do the same ones over and over again.
Right.
There's Innocent, there's Benedict, there's Jean Paul, there's
That's 2 for 1.
who's the
There's
Pope now?
Shaggy. There's a Pope Shaggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the Pope's Francis?
Right.
Maybe that might be the first Francis, right?
I don't ever see a number after his name.
Neither do I. Might be the
I don't
first
see a number
Francis.
after his name.
I would- if I became
do
the
not
next Pope-
quote us on this.
If I became the next Pope, I'd just go Francis too. Like he did it right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He had a good name.
He
Let's
is
just keep
like-
it going.
But no, it's referencing a cool saint.
oh yeah.
Yeah, a saint who liked animals and like
that's fun.
It was like hopeful.
There's no way he's the first Pope Francis. I can't
No?
believe
Look it
that.
up.
Francis of Assisi is such a
I watched
number
the
one
2
banger.
popes.
Yeah, but not but he's not. I feel like he's not big in like
Vatican circles.
Yeah, in the Vatican circles.
Yeah, he's more like an alt pope, kind of. Yeah,
Deep cut Pope.
very unpopular.
You notice how we talk about like lewd stuff, and I'm like, and when we start talking about popes, I fucking light up.
Yeah, he's popping out of here.
Oh, do we have to be so lewd? Well, actually, Pope Innocent is a cool name.
Wait, I'm going to read one more of the incest thing. Initially, many taboo may seem unnatural to us. You are certainly allowed to feel uncomfortable about some. Thank you. Also, this woman's name is Maria Hernandez, in a relationship with my twin sister. Okay, you're entitled to answer the question. You are the person we were asking, Maria Hernandez. There was a time when homosexuality was a taboo.
I do not like that
There
being the
was a
metric.
time where it was. That's a fact. You can't debate that. That's the sound that plays when you find that out. Hopefully, there will be a time when incest isn't. But those are relationships between people and should be accepted by everyone. You don't need to accept the way some people have sex. It's up to them, but everyone deserves to be happy. Stay safe. Smiley face. Okay. That's pretty open-minded of Maria Hernandez.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
It does not really answer the question, has it made her more accepting of other taboos? But I think we have to just accept that no one is going to answer this question.
I think that means that the answer is probably no.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I read something really fucked up. What? Yeah, you're right. I think the answer is no. It does not make you any more accepting of other taboos, but it does make you incestuous.
Sure.
Let's move on to another question.
Let's move on to another question. Now, I have another one Tim's gonna love.
Jesus Christ.
I think both the ones I found Tim isn't gonna like, but okay.
Francis.
If we were to read one of them, before we move out of core romance, would you rather read, why is it that many women find it difficult to submit to the headship of their husbands?
I don't want to play within that world.
Or does anybody Asian feel unattracted to almost all East, South, and Southeast Asian men and women?
How about we move on to another question?
Okay, that's fair. That's been core romance for the week. We'll have to come back and kind of explore race and gender another time.
I will say, on the Wikipedia for popes, there is no number after Francis's name.
Yeah, I think
and
you
Benedict's got
those.
so many letters. He's XVI.
When we convert Jeremy, oh my God,
But
he's
yeah, but
Francis too.
16.
But so here, let's go through. So let's see other names recently. So we've got,
Okay.
with many Benedicts, John Paul,
John Paul. Oh my
Regular
God. People
John,
love John and John Paul.
Pius. We got a Pius. We got Benedict, Saint. We got Leo.
That's pretty good.
We got Gregory.
I like the ones that are just normal names.
Clement, like clemency. In case you didn't know.
Okay, all right.
But there we go.
Innocent. The last
innocent was 1721.
Wow. Not since the United States has existed has there been an innocent.
I wonder if he did something
that made him guilty?
Naughty.
Well, yeah, I wonder if he did something that made people not want to claim his title.
Oh, sure.
Do you think he was incestuous, which was a taboo at the time?
At the time.
Not like now.
There's an Alexander. Hasn't been Alexander in a while.
Oh, well, Tim, I think instead of forcing these pre-picked options upon you, what if we just search Pope questions?
Sixtus the Fifth.
Sixtus the
That's pretty good.
That's kind of
Sixtus the
tough to
Fifth
wrap
is a
your
funny.
mind around.
So wait, has no one done Sixtus since? No one has picked up Sixtus the Sixth.
You gotta do Sixtus, dude.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay, yeah. Because I'm sarcastic with innocent. I said sarcastic with it.
That's weird.
Okay, we got a few Pope questions.
Urban's pretty good.
We got, how is a new Pope elected?
Okay.
I know. I saw the two popes. I know.
I've seen that.
Has there ever been a female Pope in the Catholic Church?
No.
I assume not.
Well,
What?
we haven't read the question.
There's not. There hasn't been.
We don't know that
There
until
hasn't
we read
been.
the question.
I know there hasn't been. Maybe an anti-pope.
Here's an answer. No, it's nonsense. The Pope Joan myth first appeared some 2 centuries after that event was alleged to have taken place. It's a fairy tale story, the stuff of pantomime.
This guy's really pissed.
Yes.
Historically, no. As others have mentioned, there is a story of a female Pope, Pope Joan John, but the historical lists of popes do not include her in the supposed year she would have been Pope. No, there never was a female Pope. Okay, so I think we're getting a lot of no's. Oh, wait. Was there a woman Pope? The nameless Pope.
Whoa.
Yeah, the story first appeared from the hand of the Dominican monk Jean de Mailly.
From the hand of the Dominican monk. 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 The Dominican monk. From the hand of the Dominican monk. From the hand of the Dominican monk. Oh. I'm sorry.
That was
I liked it.
that was hand of the Dominican monk. With that on our minds, was there a woman Pope? In his book, Universal Chronicle of Metz, UK title, written between 1240 and 50, he tells of how Pope Victor III in 1087 was replaced by a female Pope, Tim.
Okay, this is good to know.
In this book, the female Pope is nameless, but it is told she disguised herself as a man.
Okay.
Worked her way up the ranks to end up as first cardinal and then Pope. A lot of priests don't climb any ranks, I've noticed.
Wait, what?
A lot of priests don't. They like
They just
maybe
hang
get
out
to
at
Monsignor tops.
Sure.
Yeah.
They have no drive.
I mean, they can't all be Pope.
No, only one guy.
There's like a million of them, and there's one little lucky lady in disguise.
What year is this?
1087 it says.
1080. I'm sorry, I'm looking on Wikipedia to see if they
We're
have
all
this.
scrounging the internet to find out this nameless.
I'm on the
Pope
Wikipedia
background.
list of popes, so I mean, I might as well just see if 1087.
I got to finish the paragraph. Okay, so she works her way up the ranks. That's what you want to do as a Catholic Church. She's giving alms. She's
It's giving alms.
it's it's serving alms.
Oh wait, this is giving alms. Is anyone getting alms vibes? Oh, I like that.
Put the wafer on my tongue.
Giving alms here.
She worked her way up to cardinal and then pope. Furthermore, it is said that she was revealed when she got on a horse and gave birth to a child. Well, there's a few things a pope isn't supposed to be doing there. It ends with her being stoned and buried on the spot
Oh God, off. Oh, she gave birth to a child while.
Oh yeah, that's a giveaway.
on a horse. Yeah.
I want to read about this person.
Is that something with horse
find
riding?
them.
Does horse riding like jostle the child out of you if you're pregnant?
Yeah, so horses were created by Poseidon, the god of the
That's
Mediterranean Sea.
interesting. Would not have expected that.
Yeah, so which is sort of it is a sort of strange thing that the horse is always connected to Poseidon, but so horses always have a connection with water. Now, what breaks before birth? The water breaks. And so when a pregnant person is near a horse, or especially atop a horse, that water is sort of churned around by this sort of mystical connection between the horse and water from which they were created.
Clomp, 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 clomp.
Clip clop is water for splish splash.
Of course.
See, clip clop is actually the water language for splish splash, which is the Americanized term for clip clop.
I'm gonna put all of this on TikTok with the title like "Scientist Explains Birth." Just see if people start thinking it.
So when a pregnant person is near a horse, or especially top of a horse, they are more likely to give birth. And so this is why people who have sort of went past their birth date without giving birth yet, they will gather around horses. They will go to the zoo if they're an idiot, because they assume horses will be there. And
Right,
often
not
horses
at a ranch or something.
Exactly. You can go to a ranch,
Right.
But it's why you'll see many pregnant people at the zoo, because they're fools.
Right.
And so while you won't see as many pregnant people you will see pregnant people at ranches, but not as many, because it's just like statistically, there's less sensible people in the world than insensible people.
We're talking about a numbers game.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, that's what happened to the nameless pope. Is that baby shot out of her and they stoned her to death on the spot because she was a woman and she had a baby and she was the nameless pope.
I will say Wikipedia does not include the nameless pope. If that is a
Well, I can imagine.
Conflict of interest.
I can imagine there are some virulent Catholic people who are
sure.
like, no, this was not in our legacy.
I will not donate to Wikipedia.
Catholic mods.
Which that
Why do you say it like chocolate
Post
rain?
another change the post. Catholic mods. I can't go. Okay. A lot of questions about women popes, and then a lot just really yelling at Pope Francis. People do not
They don't
like
like
him.
No.
They don't like him because he's accepting of gays, which he says is different than incest. And then they don't like him
always saying
because
that.
he's like, you can do drugs on a weekend and stuff like that. He's like,
at night.
he's not a young pope either. He's just like dope. He's just like dirty with it. He's hitting the dab on him.
Yeah, did you all see you saw Two Popes?
I saw two popes.
I also read the screenplay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
'cause I
It was that good?
Did they cut a third pope?
Yeah,
They just didn't have the time.
Yeah, it's good. No, it was one of those things where the screenplay was in a box on the streets.
Really?
You get it for if you're in SAG or something like that.
Sure,
so
sure.
I assume someone in SAG lives in Brooklyn.
I don't buy it.
And they
a SAG man lives in Brooklyn.
and they got it for award season, and I picked it up, and then I read it, and then a few years later, I convinced my wife to watch the movie with me.
Nice.
I used to see all of these when I was walking dogs. I would go in people's houses and they'd have all the for your consideration at the academy, and I'd sit in their chairs and I'd think, I'd kill you if I could. I'm so jealous of your life in this big fancy brownstone, and I'm here with your mongrel, your dog. I lie on the ground with your dog and eat the food, and then I'd leave and I wouldn't do any of that stuff. But
Well, that's good that you.
I was just it was coming from a place of rage.
Sure, like writing a letter to someone and not sending it.
It was like writing a letter if the letter was just like quietly alone in their home, to their dog, just whispering hateful things to their dog. Would anybody like to know some things Pope Francis has done different from other popes?
Different from other popes?
Yeah, how has Pope Francis Catholicism, how has Pope Francis been different from previous popes?
I would be interested in how Pope Francis has deviated from the popes who came before.
Okay, a few things. A few things Pope Francis has done different than the previous popes in his first months. First of all, he's taking a selfie in the first picture, which is like, selfie with
He's
a
probably
pope.
the first pope to do a selfie.
Selfie with it. Yeah,
That's more of a time thing than
I don't think Benedict was doing that.
Yeah. More of an era thing.
Yeah.
So this is just the first few months. He refused to wear ermine-lined capes other popes wore.
He refused to wear a cape?
Ermine-lined.
I'm beginning to turn on this
Did he
guy.
have an?
Ermine-lined
He had the opportunity to wear a case.
Yeah.
You tell me this guy had the opportunity to wear a cape and he refused?
He refused.
I
I don't know if is it like fake pope, not a real pope. Where's the cape? Where's the cape? Not a pope. Rather than blessing the people in St. Peter's Square on his election, he asked the people to bless him. You son of a bitch. That's not what the Pope does. You blast one out from the G-Man right up top of your big tower.
Sure.
We didn't give you a city to then bless you in it. God damn it.
This city was the blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gave you the city.
You go ahead and shoot some of that right back out, huh?
He never even said thank you.
Never
The whole city.
Never thank the
Never
Italians.
said
I
thank
don't
you.
know if he says, he probably says like ciao and stuff like that. Grazie.
Sure.
Grazie.
Yeah.
He did say grazie.
It says grazie. It's a loophole. He refuses to ride in a bulletproof Mercedes limousine riding on a bus with other cardinals right after his election using a Ford Focus around Rome. That's kind of fun to imagine. And driving himself around the Vatican in a 1984 Renault. This is car talk. What was the Pope riding right after the election? We got a 1984 Renault. That's going to keep you low to the ground, right where the Protestants are.
I just feel like,
Yeah.
Moves like that are to be humble, to be publicly humble is like funny to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that he is like, probably making like a point about like,
I mean, he is the Pope, so it's kind of like a virtue he's in charge of and stuff.
yeah, he's in charge of humility.
It's literally
yeah.
his job to be like, oh, I take my shoes off when I go inside. These guys are out of control.
The Pope?
Yeah,
These guys?
these guys.
You
Well, there's no women. We just looked it up.
You think
true.
popes are out of control? You think generally of all sample size? You
I
think
do think popes
as
are out of control.
Okay.
They get their own city and they have their own army and they have an ermine-lined cape and they bless everybody and it's just like, who are you to do all these things? Who put the white smoke up your behind, Mr. Pope?
God.
I'll tell you who. A collection of the cardinals.
And friggin'
Hey,
God.
come on.
Wait, is it cardinals or bishops?
Just
Which is
because a bunch
higher?
of birds
I
get
have
together.
no idea.
Which is higher, the cardinal or the
Just
bishop?
cardinal is higher.
Okay.
I,
Remember,
making me second guess myself.
remember Cardinal Richelieu?
Yeah. Louis the
Tim
14th.
Curry, baby.
We're getting to him.
Are we?
We're getting to Cardinal
We're getting the
Richelieu.
hymns. I love hymns. God praise. I don't,
Everyone say their favorite hymn. Let's go round robin.
what are some names of hymns?
And his name is Zebediah.
I went to an Episcopal school. We sang hymns at chapel once a week, and so I should know these. But the ones I'm remembering are ones that I learned later aren't hymns, are just like Cat Stevens songs,
Okay, let's get some famous hymns going in
The
the chat.
morning has broken
hymn
like
of
the first
praise.
morning. Blackbird has spoken.
Okay, just to round out the conversation.
Okay, I wasn't done with verse numero uno, but sure, let's cut that one off.
These are the 6 best hymns of all time.
I take it back. Tell me these.
Guide me, O thou great Redeemer.
Guide me, O thou great Redeemer. He is Lord.
That's a hymn.
So, not to sound stupid, but genuinely, what is a hymn? Like
It's a church song.
Okay. Just a song. It's not like a specific.
Well, it's like a song that has a lesson, too.
Okay.
I am sure there are like some. I think it's songs that are written for worship.
Okay.
I imagine.
It's a song like being incestuous makes you more accepting of other taboos. Jerusalem is the second hymn.
Jerusalem, I turn to you. I tell your your soul.
This one's kind of like a pop
live
punk.
in you too. I do think that little minor dissonance thing is
Sure.
like something not allowed in hymns. I don't think you're allowed to turn to a relative minor. Or something.
Yeah, you're not allowed to get funky with it, with hymns, really. Be thou my vision. Next, we head over to Ireland.
Be thou my vision, be thou my vision. Let's go to where? To Ireland shores, where the Ireland sings.
You know what? I think I actually heard that one because I played through Guitar Hero 3.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's in
yeah.
there, yeah.
The Dropkick Murphys do that.
Yeah, Dropkick Murphys featuring Slash.
It's one of the only times where Slash plays the bagpipes. He doesn't do that often. Dear Lord and Father of mankind.
Ooh, dear Lord, you're my daddy. You're all of our daddies, you're all of our poppies, you're all of our faddies too. And mankind's made for you, and mankind's made from you.
That's the song.
And mankind's made from you.
These are all like Blink 182 covers of hymns. They're real radio bangers. And needless to say, we have 2 more hymns of our 6 best hymns of all time.
I wonder if I know them.
Amazing Grace.
Amazing rock. How sweetly the sound go falling backward through my ears to your heart, to her she be in grace. She's my daughter and I am her dad. Let daddy come home and be joyful to him, be joyful to her. Name them all Grace. Name them all Grace.
You're
Why
doing multiple
Catholics are
parts.
cool.
It's like a round.
Catholics are cool now. They're doing hymns like Green Day.
This really gets me into Catholicism again. The last one is the day thou gavest, Lord, is ended.
Oh.
The day thou gavest, comma, Lord, comma, is ended.
But door is ended. But they the doors ended. But my Lord's ended, and that was the day I gave my soul to him, and he said, come with me, and I will raise you up into my Father's arms, and I said, okay, let's do that today.
These are all wonderful marching songs.
Yeah.
These are great on the road.
That was the
to
big
Ireland.
church new metal phase. That one was less popular. They had to go back on it.
Yeah. That was like the third single that came. That was like the second single that they wisely moved on to a third single. Everyone thinks it was the second single.
One of my favorite Disturbed songs. The day thou gavest, Lord, is ended.
The day thou.
Yo, that's all the interesting Pope quoras I could find.
Okay, well, let's check in with different direction we want to go in now. It feels like the world is our oyster.
We have a lot of options around here. There's a few animal ones.
Okay.
They have kind of led in a direction that we've gone before. I'm going to say let's save those for later. Let those build.
Okay.
Let those flourish.
Okay.
These are kind of... these are quotas that question society and open the mind's third eye in a segment that we are now calling the Quoker, which is quora but in Joker. Does that come across? Does the quora and Joker? Do we have a sound for that?
Do we?
Do we? Do we have a sound?
Spree.
There we go. That's what it is.
I'm the Joker.
This is what
Did I do that?
He's always saying that.
this is what I was saving the Naruto theme for. I think.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
all coming back.
Nope.
You know what? Never mind.
Got it wrong.
We're not doing any of this. Okay, I think Tim will like this one.
Okay.
I sure hope so.
You had it. Fingers crossed. You had a whole podcast about the high school you were in at the time, which should have been my tip off about your age. But
Yeah, that was a real pod.
But this question is, what was the downfall of the popular kid in your school?
Ooh.
Now,
Downfall.
The downfall of the popular kid. Does anybody have a story about that before we get into it?
So I do have a story. It wasn't a total downfall, but it was memorable. Where we had like a talent show, and one of the coolest kids in school he was a big lacrosse star. He strangely decided to do a song with like some of the band kids, and the band kids were cool, to be honest. Like the band kids were all cool, but it was like a different type of cool, you know?
Yeah, it was band cool.
And
Cool, like playing the trombone.
well, no, like drum, guitar, bass, you know, like these. There's some cool shit, you know,
All right,
like
all right.
not really playing it. And
Lizzo on the flute.
yeah, exactly. Actually, one of them was an electric violinist. It was like super,
Oh,
it
yellow
was
card.
super cool. But they, so this group of kids for the talent show played the 311 song, and the cool kid did the rapping on the 311.
That's pretty cool.
And I forget if there was a curse word in that song or just in the thrill of the moment. He was like giving. It was like, it wasn't actually a bad performance, but it was clear he was like giving it in this really cool way that was like kind of, oh my God, he does music too. And somehow in that space he curses, and then he does like drop the mic and just leave stage, and it's really like, I don't give a fuck. It was like, there's this real, I don't give a fuck what you all think of me, whatever.
This sounds really cool. I can't imagine a downfall coming after this.
The next act happens. Between that act and the one following, that kid is walked back on stage by the vice principal. And she goes, there's something he would like to say to all of you. And he goes, I'm really sorry I cursed, and that was really inappropriate, and it wasn't something I shouldn't have done, and I'm just like really, really sorry. And then he left, and like he wasn't, you know, he stayed cool, but it was like I'll never forget watching this and being like,
She
oh my
really
God.
took him down a notch.
What was the curse? Do you remember?
I think just fuck. I mean,
Sure,
is that what it was? Either whatever curse is in one of that famous 311 song that was not Amber, you know?
Sure.
Or maybe he even just like did that. Maybe he even just like flipped the bird.
Right, which is it's your hand.
Dropping the microphone is worse than all of that. I feel like
can damage the
my
equipment.
big thing was like, I hope the mic was still working.
But it was a all-purpose through microphone. It wasn't like
Okay.
you know,
I was telling this to a friend recently, but I am scarred by a memory I had. This is not answering your school question. I'm sorry. We're stepping outside of that to tell the truth. I did karaoke one time at the Pine Box Rock Shop. If you're familiar with the bar in Brooklyn, it used to be a coffin factory. It's a fun place.
that true?
Yeah, it is true. That's why it's called the Pine Box.
and there's open mics every night of the week.
There's open mics every night of the week, and it's full of rockers and punks and crusties, and your old man wouldn't want you hanging out the Pine Box Rock Shop. This is all to say that they had a karaoke night, and then I didn't know you weren't allowed to do this, and I swung a microphone. I've seen bands. You swing a microphone.
Oh, why did you do that? Wait, you did that at karaoke?
Yeah.
You should have done that.
Well, I didn't know you couldn't do that.
The microphone fly off?
No.
Still, it could have.
The woman hosting the mic stopped the music in the middle of Red Hot Chili Peppers and screamed at me in front of an audience in a way where she was like, "This isn't okay. Why would you ever think this is okay? In front of everyone. You're going to owe hundreds of dollars." And I was just like beaten like a dog in front of a large audience.
That is deeply embarrassing.
And I think this was like 8 years ago. I think about it every day.
Yeah.
The first thing when I opened my eyes.
Yeah. That is a downfall of a cool. Yeah, that's a real downfall of a cool kid. I'm joking.
I said it stepped outside of that.
I know.
That was in response to the Pope thing.
No, I know.
It's related.
I'm trying to think of other cool. Do you guys have any cool kid downfall stories?
I don't really.
I feel like my high school kind of skirted around hegemony in the way.
Oh, wow.
That way where there's a real power struggle, where there was like a popular athlete guy, but he couldn't also rap.
Right.
I did see him do a standing backflip in a way where I was like, that does make you the coolest
That is
guy
cool.
here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because you can do that and I can.
I think the most famous person from my school is the guy who has 18,000 followers on Quora. He's killing it.
I could just imagine what he would do at his big debut.
Oh God, there must be good high school story. Fuck, I feel like I have so many friends, so I wish I could just pass it away. I know you've got stories.
Your school was crazy, man.
I'm trying to think of like all of the crazy things about people who I went to high school with, but like looking back, they were just not true. Like they were all just lies.
Yeah. People definitely lied about cool kids.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have no real story. I don't know.
Okay, well, the one listed here in the question that we posted, our homecoming queen was the sweetest person, and I really liked her. So when Facebook came around, I friended her and was happy to see that she still looked great.
Oh God.
But then,
Okay.
I ran into her in person one day while waiting for the train home from the city, and she didn't look as good in person.
Oh my God. The fall.
This is her downfall.
But not only that, she didn't have custody of her children. That is a downfall. I thought it would be more like the rapping story, but
They buried the lead.
this is a much more thorough downfall. She was calling them during this train ride, and she told me that her ex-husband was a blank about letting her talk to the kids. I don't know what the whole story was, but just what I learned about it made me sad. I had wished better for her.
Wow.
Savage. Press the button. Press the killing spree button.
Killing spree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I did it.
Yes. We're getting
Cora
better
is
at these
filled
every
with
week.
just like sad answers. It's like, what's the coolest thing you've ever seen? It's like, well, I saw a man beat his child on the train. It's like, what?
Not cool, but I did see a man beat his child on the train.
Well, I actually will say that for my grade, the cool kids of my grade were sort of culled from our ranks junior year because they were
Was there a scandal?
expelled for dealing drugs.
Which is a cool thing.
That will
to
make
do.
you pretty cool.
Yeah, and
But it's also going to get you expelled.
they were all cool, and they were all. I wouldn't say they weren't like mean, but they were like they did like use their. They had soft power in their status that they like were happy to employ, and I think there was plenty of us who were like. In retrospect, we probably were actually friends with them, but no one felt safe being like we're a part of that group. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure.
And so I think once they were expelled, there was no really cool guys in our group, in our school, or in our grade anymore. Where it was like,
You were like
Everyone
much
was sort
of
of
Europe
okay.
after all the men died in war.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Just a village of grandmothers and boys.
I will say though, this I don't know if this is actually a good story. Maybe you can cut it if it's bad, but.
You've never cut anything.
Okay. Basically, the group had its own like nickname that then the school said this is like a gang
Was
thing.
it the Sharks?
No, but I mean, it might as well have been the Sharks. I'm not going to say the group's nickname, but it might as well have been the Sharks.
You
They
don't
just
want to
like
invoke them.
they called themselves that, and their school's like that's their gang name. We're like, no, that's like a dumb nickname.
Was
Yeah,
it a funny one?
No, but it was cool. It was like a cool name. And the day they got expelled, a bunch of the cool girls in my grade organized everyone to wear black. And
That's so
That's
cool.
so
a bunch of us wear
important.
black to protest.
To
protest.
memorize,
But it was that same day
Eulogize.
that there was a girl in our school, the grade above. Her dad died that day too. And so there were all these kids wearing black that were not for.
You could just
Sure.
lie. You could just be like, this is for a death and not because the crusties have been kicked out.
But at morning meeting, one of the girls who organized the wearing black stood up and gave a tearful memorial speech for her friends who got expelled, wearing black and going "Long live the name
my
of that group" on the day that.
That's a big-
everyone was like, I mean, in the moment we were made. I mean, I remember.
It's not the worst thing I've ever heard.
It's not the worst, but it was like
It's a bit gauche.
it is gauche, but it was like in front of everyone. And everyone was like, "Oh God!" And I do remember that day going to school wearing black, and then someone being like, "Hey, this happened." And I was like, "Well, I'll be putting on a sweater." For her. Like, this is ridiculous.
It appears I'm gauche, doesn't it?
You have
I'm
to be pretty
16
cool.
years old and gauche.
You have to be pretty cool to have people like protest your expellment for selling drugs. Like that is incredibly cool.
They were pretty cool and
That
like
people
pretty funny.
like
yeah.
organized the protest because like Steven was kicked out of school for a week.
And like it's true. In retrospect, like we were friends with them, but no one felt safe. Not like physically safe. We're just, you guys are like...
You guys are on another level.
Yeah, they were crazy.
I was fully anonymous in school.
Wow.
Did you guys get nominated for like superlatives or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you nominated for?
Most musical.
Oh.
And then I did win the Performing Arts Award for my
pretty
senior
cool.
year.
You have an award for that.
They did.
That's awesome.
That's
They
dope.
did.
My school didn't have superlatives at all.
You didn't have superlatives?
Did you have superlatives? My
I
middle
had
school
them.
did. My middle
Nobody.
school-
I was not nominated for a superlative, but they certainly had them.
My middle school had superlatives, and mine was like most likely to be a musician. And I think that's 'cause they did not like look into me at all. They were just like fucking. I seen him hold a saxophone.
The most
Musician,
competitive,
print it.
the most competitive superlative at my school was best twins, and they would just nominate like 6 sets of twins.
Were any of them dating each other?
No, as far as I know.
Somewhat of a taboo in high school.
Yeah, a big
Yeah.
one.
When
It can be.
my friends, we had a big campaign to have him win Cutest Smile, which he did win. And to be honest, of our whole grade, he did have the cutest smile.
No,
I
there
bet.
you go. That's democracy in
That
action.
would, If I won cutest smile, that would probably hold me up for life after that. Even if things weren't, even if I had a prestigious downfall that was being chronicled online, I'd have the cutest smile plaque and I'd rub it sometimes.
Unfortunately, this is one of those guys who did not want to be seen ever. So I think us forcing this on him was not like a pleasure for him.
Sure.
Let's see that smile. Let's see how cute it is. Oh, it's better than I thought. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my God. That might be the best one in the whole grade.
We had one that was like most likely to be on SNL that my friend won.
That's
and that's a
extremely
superlative.
well. Are they on SNL?
Yeah, it was Colin Jost.
That's incredible.
No, he's like an entrepreneur now, the guy.
Oh, wow.
he just-
Well,
The opposite of that.
He had something. I'd like to read another Quora, please.
Please, yeah, lay it on
If that's
us.
all right. Now we have a few in a row about intelligence here,
Okay.
and intelligence is somewhat of a
I love to explore intellect.
right. It's a nebulous subject. It can mean many things.
Ooh, nebulous.
What would you say? What is a sign of high intelligence that not many people know about? Is the question.
Speed.
Speed.
The faster tend to be the more intelligent.
They can get out of a bad situation.
Exactly. That's sometimes the smartest thing in the world.
Sometimes the way to avoid a storm, the best way to navigate a storm. I'm remembering the House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Sometimes the best pilot, he navigates the storm by avoiding it entirely.
That's true.
Rhaenyra.
We all catch up. We all see the time bump.
I saw the time bump.
I think it improved on how boring the last everything else that came before was. I was like, oh, it's a little less
A
boring.
little bit more because there is a bit more stakes on the line. But I am very much just here for the castle intrigue.
I don't think any of them look that much like the younger versions, though.
No.
Which is
I
very
also
funny to
think
me.
that,
Like, why
yeah.
do they even have that? It's just very odd.
And then one guy is just there from before the time.
yeah, a few of them are the
Like,
same.
You've aged great.
It's been a good 10 years for you.
I need to know what moisturizer you're using in the medieval time period.
It's not medieval. Medieval is Earth thing. This is not Earth.
That's true.
Well, but it's the same. They have the same technology as medieval times.
Oh, really? Oh, I guess there was just the technology of dragon eggs.
Except for dragon eggs, they have the same stuff, and it seems to last forever, indicating a dark age, an
No.
age where of minus
The age of the
enlightenment,
long night.
an age of the long night.
No.
What is a sign of high intelligence that not many
Knowing
people
a Song
know
of Ice and
about?
Fire fact.
Speed.
A sign of intelligence few people know about is having a tough time understanding a question you're being asked.
I mean, okay, I only hear. I feel like I know what they're gonna say, but
I
let's hear it.
feel like this is not true. But
Sorry,
I'm
that's why
going
I
to
didn't
read on.
answer before, because I was just like, what?
yeah.
What?
Dude, my mind's in another
Sorry,
place.
I'm
right
doing
now.
math right now.
Why is that? It's because people with very high IQs have many meanings coming to their mind when they hear a word or a phrase. So intelligence, you could think like skill at cooking. You could think athletic ability is intelligence. It's physical intelligence. This says, for example, if someone asks, what do you do? These high IQ people are likely to wonder whether they are being asked what kind of job they do or what kind of hobbies they have.
So okay, here's actually why I push back on that. I feel like I I think if you're a high IQ is fake.
A high Q individual.
IQ is fake, but if you are in the frame of this question, if you are a high intelligent person, it's that what that is suggesting is that they are baffled by unspecific questions, where the real intelligence would be like, oh, let me follow up with
understand.
Let me ask a follow-up question.
Yeah.
You know, like
clarifying
some sort of like human intelligence to be able to like understand people.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe this is what this is tapping into is like if you are like a genius autistic kind of person, you may not be able to answer the question at all, but you've like solved the flying car.
But this is just people who like love Sherlock and are just like, oh, I want to be smart like Sherlock.
I want to be able to fight like the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock who like does thinking about fights.
It's true.
I just think at the end of the day, intelligence is less important than speed. Speed. Check out how fast I can run. This is only for people who are listening. Check out how fast I can run.
Oh my god. Wow, that's crazy.
That was really fast. Wow, Tim can do a flip too. That's really impressive how fast you just went just now. And it's intelligent in a way.
The wind unplugged my mic. That's so smart.
This need for constant precision is always present at a high IQ level, whereas for people of average IQs, the most obvious and common meaning always comes to mind first because they're so fucking average.
So some people are just always know what you're saying.
They always are straight shooters. This is a real shot across the bow for straight shooters, this one. So while not being able to understand a simple question is seen as a form of stupidity by many, it may actually be a sign of higher intelligence. And then they have a reference from a study.
There's a study for everything that like says you're smart. I feel like you can find a study on like any behavior.
Have you know smart people are always doing studies? What is that? What is up with that? You can't just call like you see it? Come on, man.
Come on.
I know a smart guy when I spot one, when I got one on my bow.
When I'm hanging out at the track, seeing someone run around.
Those are some dude.
How'd they learn to run so fast?
I know. Some people like watch Jeopardy. I just go to the track.
We're gonna read this one too because it's so similar to the last one. Then we'll call it a break. What is a subtle sign of high intelligence? Richard Feynman said one of the joys of working with all the really smart people on the Manhattan Project was you never had to explain anything twice. Everyone was paying attention. Everyone understood it the first time you said it. This is the exact opposite of the thing we just read.
You know, this is just making me think that any discussion of intelligence in an online forum is like tragic. I feel like because it feels like there's like it's such clearly an amorphous, nebulous notion that people be like, no, let's like actually lock down what is intelligence so we can like be a part of it. You know, like
yeah. I need to be able to spot them so I know who's intelligent the first time I'm talking to people so I can hang out with the intelligent people. So I can be part of the intelligent crew in my high school where I'm popular.
Also something very grim about the sentence, like, the most fun I had at the Manhattan Project.
Yeah. Probably fucking roasting all those people at the end of it.
That was the summer I spent at the Manhattan Project.
I also liked when we nuked all the turtles, waiting to see if it worked first. Those guys got fucked up. So those are two ways to spot intelligence, which
actually makes me think about something. With the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, were they a reaction to some sort of the radioactive experiments of the day? In which case, were they sort of their own fable about the dangers of nuclear energy?
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles become radioactive when they slurp up some stuff in the sewer, which means like they got some Gowanus water and became teenagers.
I mean, they call it ooze.
They called it ooze.
Wait, what was that melody quoting? Or was that just a song?
They called it ooze.
Oh yeah. Two guys nominated for most musical.
It was a snub, I tell you. They didn't find out what I really like.
It had to be ooze. I think that's what I was thinking of.
And so that's how you spot someone with high intelligence is they know your question right away or they have no idea what you're talking about. Just to round that out. Now, we are going to ask a question for Quora to answer next week. Tim, thank you so much for coming on this wonderful show. Do you have a question we can ask about the Pope or some shit? Let me plant this mic down. Let me put this baby down.
Okay, wait, hold up. Let me think of a question we can ask to Quora for next week.
Okay.
If excluding the Catholic Church, if any current religion, philosophy, or social movement suddenly had a pope, what would be the best one?
That's a great question.
What would be the best one?
That's like a good like Twitter engagement prompt.
Yeah, I know.
That's good though. I like it.
It's leading me to what's your opinion on the idea of having a pope? But I think this is distinct
different
enough.
question.
Because I want to hear people be like, actually, I think. Like,
I think
incels should have a pope. You know,
And
or
Jordan Peterson.
I think, there should be a pope of, I think Baltimore, Maryland should always have a pope. Collected by the social movement of being a citizen of Baltimore, I think.
The god of Baltimore should
yeah.
decide the Pope of Baltimore.
Yeah, and I guess I say social movement because I want this to be like sort of internet sticky. It's like what sort of like tradcath or like what like reply guys have a something like that. I feel like that gives it some internet juice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here are the
think that's a good
suggested topics: the papacy,
Yes.
Sure.
Catholicism,
Yes.
Sure.
religion,
Yes.
Yeah.
Catholic churches,
Yes.
Yeah.
hypothetical scenarios.
Wait,
that's
okay.
pretty good.
Wait, okay, hold up. Maybe this would be a better question if we take away religion, excluding the Catholic Church. What non-religious?
Sure.
Or I guess
Because then you just get like Mormon church, Mormon Pope, and it's like I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Especially if we're asking the papacy too.
Yeah. So let's get rid of. Let's edit the question.
This is a question for other
I'm
Catholics
going back.
to
Yeah.
decide who else should
So
get a Pope.
We don't even need to say excluding the Catholic Church now. You just be like, if any non-religious social movement or collective suddenly had a pope and a tradition of the papacy,
Right.
what would be the most interesting one, and what would they do?
If any non-religious philosophy or social movement suddenly had a pope, what would be the best one?
Philosophy. I think I read philosophy. Sure, let's take philosophy. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hyphen
Philosophy, social movement, or like collect. Does that cover everything?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's fine. I think people get it.
Okay.
Plus,
Sorry.
they're gonna disregard our question anyway and say some shit that they're thinking about.
Don't know what that means, but
Sorry, I just sometimes get so like
Not about the
nervous
Pope,
about when I'm writing
but-
to the internet. Like, are people going to think my question is fast or something?
Hypothetical scenarios. Yeah, I'm putting in all
how
the
quickly can I
things.
read this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna add Catholic Church. All right, Catholics.
Should we ask
the
any
future.
non-Catholic groups, or we just want Catholics to answer?
We
this?
should have other groups.
I would prefer if it's just Catholics.
We should have other groups too, though.
I would prefer if it's just Catholics. I don't know. I just feel more comfortable if it's just Catholics. They know the Pope's the best. They're the only ones who have a Pope. I'm sorry. Nobody else has a Pope.
It's true.
Who do you want to include? I have to type in all of them. So what one do you want?
I
What
think
specifically
hypothetical.
are you dying to have in the Pope question?
Keep hypothetical questions.
Yeah,
I'm
Topic.
keeping hypothetical
Yeah,
questions.
yeah.
I checked all the recommended ones, but I'm not gonna add every Protestant schism thing. It's gonna take forever.
Yeah.
I'll do Judaism. There
Yeah,
we go.
get that in there.
They're gonna be furious as it shows up on their feed.
Type in,
Do it anyway.
We'll type in philosophy and type it like what's another word for like social movement? What's for like
I'm putting in Abrahamic religions.
do hashtag like The Voice or something like that. Or like The Masked Singer.
The Voice.
The Masked Singer should have a
The Voice
masked
has a
Pope.
lot of followers. I'm gonna put it in The Voice.
What if you didn't know who the Pope was because they were dressed like a little goblin or whatever?
That's actually really crazy.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
That's a profound question. Would you still respect the sanctity and holy power of the Pope were they masked and singing?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, right? That's a good question.
I don't know.
I already did the other one. We're doing this one.
Hey,
We're out of time. We're simply out of time.
hey,
There's no way we're doing the Mass Singer question.
hey,
Because then next week we'd have to read 2 questions.
hey.
Hey. Hey, that's it. That's it for that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Tim, thanks so much for singing me all those songs today.
Yeah, that was great.
I mean, just quoting songs I already knew about. I'm the most musical guy in my school, or at least my grade that one year.
You deserve the title, I think.
Thanks, man.
You've earned it. What are your podcasts or projects or the things people can find you outside of Quora?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a comedian that's online, so you can
Really?
follow my handles to find out shows I'm doing. My Twitter is Timothy Platt. My Instagram is I am King Bozo. My TikTok is Timbo Platt. Timbo spelled Timbeaux. If you want to hear my voice, I am on 2 podcasts right now. One is called Rude Tales of Magic, and it is a Dungeons and Dragons comedy podcast DM'd by Branson Reese. And the other one is called Those Stars of Space, which is a sort of a Star Trek pastiche comedy podcast that is GM'd by Joe Lepore, and they're both great shows.
2 great tastes that taste great together. Well, Tim, that's it from all of us here at Quarators. And as we say every week, to see you.
What?
Stay Quarious.
Okay.
And you say this every week.
Starting now.
Well, the last few times I've said, Christ is Lamb.